Namaste, Swamiji. Can we start?
Om Namo Narayanaya. Pranamam Swamiji. Namaste, everybody. After stating in the 35th shloka, Aham Akashavat Sarvam, the same thought is continued in the 36th shloka also. Here, Swamiji emphasized that the words used to talk about Atma are to indicate the essential, innate nature of Atma, which we experience. They are not adjectives to qualify the Atma, because the qualified can change with the qualities. Swamiji elaborated on Nitya, eternal, Shuddha, pure, Vimukta, free and without bondage, Ekam, only one, Akhanda, indivisible, Anandam, bliss, and Advayam, which means non-dual or beyond counting. Stating that Atma is one, Swamiji pointed out that in Vedantic terminology, it is said, Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Vedha, Rahita. There is no entity similar to Atma. Further, the subtle difference between Ekam and Advayam was explained. Atma is Satyam or existence, Anantam or infinite, meaning that I am that Brahma which is existence, knowledge, and infinite. This is the perfect meditation of Atma. Previously, we meditated on Nirguna and Nishkriya, which denied all the qualities and actions. We now meditate on the nature of Atma and feel that we are beyond all these body-mind complexes. This will definitely give us experiences or flashes of Atma. The 37th shloka says, with constant uninterrupted practice, the vasanas in the mind become innate inclinations or habits. If we chant this shloka morning and evening, then gradually it becomes part of our own nature. Acharya says that if something is practiced with deep inclination, then that practice makes a very deep impression in our mind called samskara. These samskaras make vasanas. Samskaras are produced with action. When we act with the body, mind, and sense organs, by that practice, the habitual impressions are formed. If these practices are intensified, then strong samskaras will come out of that and stay on. Therefore, if we practice Brahmaivaham Asmi every day with concentration, love, and emotion, then that will make a deep impression and remain in our mind. Then it will destroy avidya as well as all agitations and changes in the mind. This meditation in Vedanta is about actually experiencing our own self. Do the meditation with real concept and not with imagination. If we imagine or visualize something, it could be an object, and the mind might become attracted towards that, and this effect will not be the same. Therefore, the meditation described here and in the coming shloka is to be practiced. The 38th shloka further explains this practice of meditation. Bhagavad Pada tells us how we can start meditation, seated in solitude and with a mind without agitations and passions. All desires are gradually dropped. For normal life, we do need desire, but it does not mean that all those desires should be there when you sit for meditation. Next, contemplate on one Atma, on the one self. Acharya tells us to concentrate on the one self, because when we think about ourselves, we each of us think about ourselves as an individual self. We do not connect the individual self with others. This tells us that we should remember our own nature. Remember that I am this self, Ekam Atmanam. We usually think about ourselves with qualities and with attributes. This experience is different from that. Only remember, Pancha Kosha Atita Atma. We have to educate the mind with all these Vedanta principles to accept that the Atma alone is real. Our body is present only in the state of Jagrat, and we are attached to this body. If we can identify ourselves with a deep sleep state where there is no body or mind, only bliss, then I am that. From identifying with this Jagrat Atma, we try to take this Atma in deep sleep. When we shift our identity, we can make wonders in our life. We must contemplate on this. In the 39th shloka, Shankaracharya uses the word bhavayet, meaning contemplate, meditate. Dissolve this drishyam, the visible world of objects. Bring the contemplation of the sky that is stainless, without mark, without blemish. This can be the process of that contemplation. This meditation is done by sitting very quietly without any movement and concentrating on breathing, inhaling and exhaling very slowly. Then visualize the sky that covers all the objects of this world. We know that Akasha is everywhere and all-pervading. Visualize the sky, then space, and after that, air. These three are actually one. But for the purpose of meditation, we should bring in all three. Now, the mind is in another realm where objects have no chance to appear. Objects have no separate identity or appearance. They are within space. This is one technique in meditation, starting with the breathing practice. We contemplate on space because space is one. So if we contemplate on that, we contemplate that Atma is also one. That experience slowly goes within and is there for some time. It may take time in the beginning, but as we practice, it becomes easier to get that level of contemplation sooner. Swamiji then explained the 5-element meditation, where you contemplate on the 5 elements and identify with them. All these activities in the mind are connected to the elements, and the activities cannot happen without them. When the mind is calm, there is no need to visualize this. The mind will automatically be one with Atma. There is no object, and therefore there is no mind. Free the mind from all objects. Then, manodrishyam idam dvaitam yat kinchit sacharacharam. This is said in the Mandukya Karika. When the mind becomes non-mind, when the mind loses its existence, then there is no duality. When there is no object, then there is no need to meditate. The process of meditation stops. We must try to practice these one by one. We need to listen to this talk by Swamiji again. Swamiji has said everything briefly. In short, Atma plus Atma equals the Atma. Self plus self is the self. Self minus the self is the self. The mind makes all these thought processes and individuality. We need to remember that we cannot reduce the self. We cannot add the self. There is no plus, no minus. After meditation, it is we who will feel a big change. Our mind is going to change. Believe that the self has no change. The mind seems to be meditating, but actually it is not meditating. Swamiji said that when there is no object in the mind, there is no practice of meditation. We will now listen to Swamiji. Hari Om.
Smriti-Purana-Namalaya Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat-Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krito Vande Bhagavando Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Tapo Vikshina Papanam Shandanam Vedaraginam Mumukshonam Apekshyoyam Atmabodho Bhidhiyate. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Namo Narayanaya. In Atmabodha, we have actually completed the main part of the meditations. But yet another concept of Vedanta, why we need to meditate. What is the need for meditation? If Atma is all-pervading, what is the need for meditation of any sadhana? So now from 14th sloka to 46, we are going to discuss the fruits of self-realization. It means once we realize that we are that Atman, there is no other than me. Atma is self-illuminated and it has self-awareness. So the realization, what does the realization bring to us? What we are going to gain out of this? So this is what we are going to discuss. The next sloka says, Rupa varnatikam sarvam vihaya paramarthavita paripurna chitananda swarupena vatisthate. Rupa varnadikam sarvam vihaya paramarthavita. It says the multiplicity of form, color, and all other actions which is there in this empirical world where we experience this. The Rupa Varnadikam Sarvam. The Rupa, we know, Varna is color. The Rupa can be shape or form. And then Sarvam, whatever comes to the mind. Now, when we say the multiplicity of the forms and names, then what does it mean? Where all this appear? All this appear in our mind. So we can say whatever appears in our minds, whatever we experience through our sense organs, all those, Rupa Varnadikam Sarvam, Vihaya Paramartha Vita. Paramartha Vita, one who has realized the Paramartha, the ultimate reality as Atma. Paramartham Vetti Idi Paramarthavit. Parama Artha means the ultimate, the supreme existence or supreme entity is called Artha. So this sadhaka has realized. It means he has some sort of experience that the reality is one and it's everywhere. And there is nothing apart from that. There is nothing which can be experienced other than this supreme reality. So that is Paramarthavit. He has not reached any other realm of experience. He is still in this body, in this mind, and he is experiencing this world, the phenomenal world. And there he says this. This is the speciality, what we can say, the unique understanding of Vedanta. That Vedanta says you don't have to leave this body or go out of this world for the experience of reality. Because we all think if we are in this body, in this condition, if we live in our home, how can we realize? If we want to realize, we have to go out of this body, no? Some transcendental stage. But there is nothing like that. All these transcendental stages are there in mind. If you do different kinds of meditation techniques, the mind takes those experiences, or mind appears like that. But in reality, from the viewpoint of Atma, there is no stages at all. All the stages are imagination of, manifestation of mental thoughts or different realm of understanding. So therefore, here the Paramarthavit means he has realized the truth as it is. So then, when we realize the cause of the ultimate cause, then there is no effect apart from that cause. So when we know the clay is the cause of the pot and vessel, then the vessels are not different from the clay. The ornaments are not different from the gold. So the gold, what the metal is, that form which when it takes different forms, we call by different names. So this is the reality. Now, while the effect is in action, he realizes it. He's not destroying the effect. He's not destroying the objects outside. Or he's not manually changing the forms. Only his understanding changes. But this understanding is not our normal understanding. This understanding is special because he understands the reality as it is. It's it is what we say a realization. So when we realize something, there is no chance for any doubt, any objection, any obstruction. So until we practice those sadhanas, there are chances are there for the change or no doubts. All those are there. So once he realizes that paramarthavita, then vihaya, then he separates, or he doesn't realize the objects different from the reality. So this is the vihaya. Actually, the word meaning is discarding or dispelling or destroying. But actually, nothing is happening. He just understand the reality of those objects. That's all. The paramarthavita rupad varnadikam sarvam vihaya. So after this realization, paripurna chitananda swarupena vatisthate, he experiences his own reality as paripurna, infinite consciousness, paripurna, complete, paripurna chitananda. So when he experienced that, so there is no change in mind. He understands that it's the experience, the reality. That's all. Therefore, it is called paripurna. It is complete. The paripurna chitananta swarupena avatisthate. The paripurna chitananda swarupena. That become his nature, because that was his nature, and now he realized it. So hereafter he has no duties, or he has no desires. He is not going after any manifestation, modifications. So paripurna chitananda swarupena avatisthate. So this is, we can say, in one level, this is also a meditation, but this is the experience of reality. Therefore, when this stage is experienced, there is no chance to bring the duality, or there is no need to think of something else. So this the experience remains ever, and then there is no desire, then there is no action, there is no need to do all those. So this is the fruit of self-realization. Once we experience this, this become ultimate. So paripurna chidananda swarupena avatishthate. So it is continued in next sloka. If this is paripurna, complete, and there is no duality, then how can we say this is the experience of knowledge? How can we say that? Why? Because the knowledge, what we know, has three parts: the knower, the knowledge, and the known, the object of knowledge. Without these three, there cannot be any knowledge as such. So here Bhagavad Pada Shankaracharya ji is trying to indicate that in this stage, if you want to contemplate on this non-dual dual stage, so how the contemplation of non-dualism is achieved, experienced? Because wherever we contemplate or meditate or try to know something, there this function of three different parts, like knower, knowing, and known, is there. Without that, nothing is experienced. So here Acharya says, Jnatra jnana jnaya bheda parenatmani vidyate chidanante karupatva dipyate swayameva hi. So jnatra jnana jnaya bhetaha pare atmani na vidyate. So this jnana, jnatra jnana jnaya bheta, the distinctions as jnata, the knower, or jnanam, knowing or knowledge, jnaya, known, the object of knowledge. See, all these three are not there pare atmani na vidyate. There is no bheda. This distinction is not there. So atma, in atma, these distinctions is not admitted. So pare atmani na vidyate. That does not admit of this distinction. Therefore, we can't call this experience as knowledge. Therefore, what we call in Vedanta is, this is Swarupa Jnana. We have two jnanas, Vritti Jnana and Swarupa Jnana. Vritti Jnana, the normal knowledge, what we call as knowledge, that is Vritti Jnana. So the Vritti Jnana has all these three distinctions, three parts. But the Swarupa Jnana, which is experienced without any object, without the process of objectification, Swarupa Jnana has no such distinctions. So that is why Swarupa Jnana is the highest experience. We experience Atma as knowledge, or in other words, the knowledge as Atma. So Atma itself is knowledge. So there is no need for any process of knowledge. As sunlight, when we think about sunlight, the sunlight itself is light, or sun itself is light. So there is no connection of light and sun. Something like this we can understand. So jnatra jnana jnaya bhetaha pare natmani vidyate. The problem with this is, we are so much used to this vritti jnana, the knowledge process. If that is not there, we are unable to even recognize that what is happening is knowledge, what I experience is reality. Even that is not possible, because we are used to this process of knowledge. The apprehension process is very much in our we know that, we are very familiar with that. If that is not there, you say, if that process is not there, how can be there knowledge? How can be there a knowledge without a process of knowledge? Therefore, even though every moment we experience this Swarupa Jnana, we are unable to realize that. We are wheeling that Jnana with our own wrong understandings, preconditions. So that Jnana is wheeled by our own wrong understanding. So here Acharya says, now you reveal it. Realize that the process of knowledge is not existing in Swarupa Jnana. The Chidananda Eka Rupatva. By words, in terms of speaking, we can only say this much. There is no words to say about this. So maximum what we can say is Chidananda Eka Rupatvat. Why there is no knowledge process? Because Atma is consciousness itself. bliss itself. We don't say consciousness of self. We don't say bliss of self, or we don't say consciousness in self, in Atma, or bliss in Atma. There is no need to say all this. So, Chidananda Eka Rupatva. It's said in Upanishad, Prajnana Ghana. It's knowledge itself. So, Chidananda Eka Rupatva Deepyade Swayamevahi. It remains itself completely absorbed as knowledge itself. So now the problem is, you will lose your identity as a human being in this stage. Are you ready to do that? But normally, none of us wants to lose our identity. We want to keep our identity as much we can, as long as we can. So therefore, in this stage, only Chidananda remains. Then you cannot claim your identity. So Chidananda Eka Rupatva Deepyade Swayamevahi. Swayamevahi. It shines, it remains the same as it is, as it itself. There is no chance of other knowledge or other thoughts of anything else. So all this happens in waking state only. We don't have to go to another level of mind or anything like that, because reality remains in all stages the same. Reality cannot be changed. It has no quality of change. Therefore, it remains the same. So before practicing this sadhana and after practicing, the reality remains the same, but the understanding changes. The mind, the thought process changes. Previously, we were thinking of objects. We always were concerned, too much concerned about objects, how they are going to give us some result. But in this stage, there is no object as such. So this is here Acharya states the contemplation of non-dualism. Here we have to remember this theory of vritti jnana and surupa jnana, because in our normal understanding, in normal studies, we don't talk about this vritti jnana, surupa jnana, two separate things. The vritti jnana, the knowledge with the process of knowledge. You see, that knowledge is achieved by the process, or it is with the process. What is the process? The knower, known, and knowledge. The three are there. And in Swarupa Jnana, there is no process. It's knowledge itself. Therefore, in Swarupa Jnana, we don't have to do anything. Because if there is no action, there is no action in mind, intellect, then what else we can do? So there is no in Swarupa Jnana, there is no process of knowledge. So now the Vritti Jnana and Swarupa Jnana, when we distinguish both this, at least by understanding, by learning all this Vedanta, in this scenario, when we try to keep our mind quiet, contemplated, then the next sloka says, we can add this practice. You have to remember, before what we discussed was another kinds of another kind of meditation. Now after the 40th and 41 and 40 and 41, and these two sloka, now what comes after this is little different. Now how can we remain in that stage of this understanding? That is what is going to discuss. The 40 sloka number 42. Evamatmarano dhyana mathane satatam krite uditavagatirjwala sarvajnanindhanam dehet. Evam atmarano dhyana-mathane satatam krite. Evam, in this manner, atmarano, atma as arani, atma as arani. Now what is this arani? Arani is like a sacrificial wood from which in the process of that sacrifice, they used to kindle fire from that. So there would be two parts of wooden pieces. That's called arani. So they keep one down and one up, and in the wood which wood piece what is there as the arani has a hollow like a socket. In that, the other piece of wood, which is called Uttararani, is joined. Then with a special rope, they rub the wood, or we can say they roll it. Then the fire is appear in that. So this is called Arani Manthana, churning the Arani. It is famous in Upanishad. Atmana maranim kritva pranavam cha uttararanim. So Arani and Uttararani. The fire churning wooden pieces. That's called Arani. Because I don't know, I don't see any word for that in English. So we have to say something like this. Because in West, they don't have this Arani system, so they don't have the word for that. We can say fire churning wooden pieces. So 2 pieces of wood. So one piece has socket and another piece is joined with that. So something like this. That's called Uttararani and Purvarani. Adhararani, Uttararani. So now, evam atmarano dhyanamatane satatam krite. Continuously contemplating on this Atma with all this effect. Dhyana mathane satatam krite. The continuity is there. Now when we hear something like this, you have to do something continuously. Now we are little afraid of that. How can we continuously do that? Because even for a while, if you want to practice, you have to put a lot of effort to sit in a place and concentrate. No, there are so many difficulties. So when Acharya says you have to do continuously this chanting process of contemplation, that immediately we think it's not possible. It's not possible by me. I cannot do it because I cannot even sit for that, and I am very very difficulty. I am having some concentration for sometimes, some peace of mind. And now how can I do this continuously, uninterrupted way? Now I will tell you how is possible. In this meditation, you are not putting any effort. There is no effort for this meditation. You are trying to bring consciousness into Atma, or if you try to bring contemplation, concentration on Atma, of course there is effort. But here, you don't have to do that. You have to understand that Atma is not losing concentration ever. And Atma is not losing consciousness ever. It's always consciousness, always with consciousness. So, if you understand this way, there is no struggle of meditation. You are not struggling for meditation. You are accepting it that I am there with this. I am there with complete concentration. I am experiencing that concentration. You try to do this way. I am experiencing that concentration. I am experiencing that consciousness. So this my words are like this. I am not trying to do meditation or concentration. I am experiencing the concentration. I am enjoying the concentration. Then there is no effort. because you are enjoying the fruit of that. So this is how we can contemplate continuously. This is what how we can do something continuously. It should be without effort. We accept that. So dhyana mathane satatam krite udita avagadir jwala. Then the flame of knowledge, udita avagati. Avagati means knowledge. Jwala means flame. Udita avagadir jwala, the flame of knowledge, which is experienced now, which is born now, will sarva ajnana indhanam dahet, will burn all the fuel of ignorance into ashes. Sarva ajnana indhanam. Now, how many ignorances we have? We don't have too many ignorances. We have only one ignorance. That is unawareness of Atma. That's the ignorance. And from that ignorance, all other ignorances, so-called ignorances, appear. So, sarva ajnana indhanam. Now, Bhagavad Pada Shankaracharya ji bringing this word sarva. Sarva means all. It means there are many, but actually there is only one ignorance, the unawareness of Atma. So that ignorance is burned out by this knowledge, the fire of this knowledge. So udida avagadir jwala sarva ajnana indhanam. Indhanam means fuel, we know. So ajnana indhanam. The fire burns into ashes all those indhanas, all those fuels. So this is what happens. Now we are not in a mood to do something, but we should be in a mood to accept the reality. The accepting the reality and trying to do something is two different things. If you want to do something, you have to collect all the accessories, all the connected things for that, to complete that action. But if you are accepting it, so there is no need to bring anything from outside. So you are that. So there is nothing we bring from outside. So with this example of Arani, Acharya brought that continuous contemplation as experiencing the concentration. Just putting the mind to experience that. So the next sloka, it says how the Atma manifests itself after ignorance is destroyed. Because last sloka said, by the fuel of, by the fire of knowledge, the fuel of ignorance is burned out. then how we experience that, how the Atma manifests itself after the ignorance is gone. Aruneneva bodhena purvam santamase hrite tada avirbhavedatma swayamevamshumaniva. Arunena iva bodhena purvam santamase hrite. So the sunrise, in our Shastras it is said, there are two parts of sunrise. The first part is called Arunodaya, the rising of Aruna. The Aruna is, we can call it dawn, the Lord of dawn. That is, in stories we call it charioteer of the sun. Charioteer of the sun is called Aruna. The first part is Arunodaya. And the second part is Suryodaya, the rising of sun. Now, the Arunodaya, because in our Shastras, even this Aruna is also a god, a dawn personified as God. The sun is also God, and this Aruna is also God. So in that Arunodaya, what happens? Arunena iva bodhena purvam santamase hrite. So in that rising of Aruna, the dense darkness, samtamasa, the dense darkness is destroyed, dispelled. So purvam santamase hrite. The first part is that. So when that light, the reddish, what do we say, the red light comes from that Arunodaya, the density of darkness is destroyed. So we could see some objects, some things. So Aruneneva bodhena purvam santamase hrite. Then tataha avirbhavedatma. Now the second part, the sun will rise up, then the rest of the darkness is also destroyed, removed. So tadaha avirbhavedatma. Atma will appear as sun. Amshumaniva. Amshuman means sun. Amshu means rays of sun, light. It's called Amshu. Amshuman, the sun. Now, tataha avirbhavedatma swayameva amshumaniva. This is the second part. So in this second part, the real knowledge is experienced, and the first part removes the ignorance. That's what Acharya wants to say here. He's bringing some, some examples. Aruna and sunlight. So Arunena iva bodhena purvam samtamase hrite tada avirbhavedatma swayameva amshumaniva. In Bhagavad Shankaracharya's other works also, we can see this example. it seems this example was very famous in those days. Now, regarding this, they were using this example. Therefore, he uses this example in many places. The Arunodaya and Suryodaya. So, first the Arunodaya, when Arunodaya happens, the density of darkness is destroyed. And then the second part, the sunrise, Suryodaya, then the objects are seen clearly. It means that knowledge is clear there. So, Aruneneva bodhena purvam santamasya krite tada avirbhavedatma swayameva amshumaniva. So, this we can meditate on this. When we the morning, if we could see the sunrise, the first rays of sun, and then if you contemplate on that as light everywhere, and that light is one with me, I am one with that light. So this it's very good meditation for this, because it's very easy. So when we meditate on light, the mind gets concentrated easily. Swayameva amshumaniva tataha avirbhavet atma. So this is how Atma is manifested itself. So now there is no sadhana or effort to bring Atma into existence or bring the experience of Atma. Because we know Atma is already there. Atma is ever present, omniscient, omnipotent, and it's there everywhere, all pervading. Therefore, what we say in Vedanta, praptasya praptihi. We realize that Atma which is already realized. We attain that knowledge which is already attained. Praptasya prapti. Now you will be confused with all this. No? I am going to confuse you again. The next sloka, there will be so much of confusion. So if I say you have already attained and now you are going to attain. So now what does it mean? This is not my words. It's there in Upanishads. Vimuktascha vimuchyate in Kathopanishad. Vimuktascha, it means one who is already realized. So the realized person is realizing. Vimuktascha vimuchyate. Now you see another word. Brahma san Brahma apyeti.
Brahma apyeti.
Brahma san Brahma apyeti.
Brahma apyeti.
He is Brahman, and being Brahman, he attains Brahman. He is being Brahman, he attains Brahman. So vimuktascha vimuchyate. So what to say is Atma is ever realized. Praptaha. It's always there. Now why we say like this? What is the reason? The reason is there is a rule. Yat kritakam tad anityam. What is manifested or what is produced that will die, or we can say what we produce, one day that will die. So yat kritakam tad anityam. It will not stay forever. It will stay only for some time. Yat kritakam tad anityam. So therefore, this realization of Atma is not produced, not attained. It must be ever existing. So that is what the next shloka says. Atma tu satatam prapto pyapraptavada vidyaya. Atma tu satatam prapto pyapraptavada vidyaya. Tannashe praptavadhati kandha bharanam yatha. Atma tu satatam praptaha. Atma, the self, is always prapta, attained. The Atma is ever attained, always attained. But apraptavad avidyaya. But as if it is not attained by ignorance. So by ignorance, we think that Atma is not attained. As if it is not attained, as if it is not realized. So that is avidya. So avidya apraptavad avidyaya. Now what this prapti is, what is that, what we are going to attain? Because if it is already attained, you have to only change your mind and remove this ignorance. Just to accept that Atma is already attained. You are always with Atma. If Atma is not there, you won't hear, you cannot do anything. So Atma is always there. But unfortunately, we are not accepting it. We are trying to see it outside. We are trying to see the Atma as an object of our knowledge. We are putting our full effort to bring Atma into existence. But Atma is ever existing within you and without you. Okay? So Atma tu sadadam prapta. Only Vedanta can say this. Because all other philosophies, they say, you all come to me and learn about Atma, learn about this knowledge, and then realize. And Vedanta say there is no need to go to anywhere. Atma is there everywhere and it's ever existing, and you already has the realization. Vimuktascha. You are already realized. But you have no awareness of that realization. So you have not realized that you are realized. So now, what we are going to do? What we are going to do now? There is no action. So just accept that Atma is prapta. It's already there. Now try to experience that. As I said, try to experience the concentration. Try to experience that realization. As we have already discussed from the beginning, how to realize that. So Atmadu Sadadam Prapto Apraptavad Avidyaya. Now you may say, I have to put some effort to remove this ignorance of Atma. No, now that is what you are going to say. And that is what we all think. We have to do something to remove this ignorance. Now, how this ignorance can be removed? Is this ignorance an object as that we can remove it? No, it cannot be. Now, is this ignorance is an action? Ignorance is an action? No. If this ignorance is not an object, if ignorance is not an action, then what is this? What is this ignorance? Just not accepting Atma as Atma, that's all. So accept Atma, self as self. So therefore it says apraptavad, as if not attained, as if not realized. What does it mean? Certainly it is realized. So tanna se praptavad bhavet. Then he says, when that ignorance is destroyed, dispelled, then praptavad. Praptavad means like you say that I have achieved it, as if it is achieved. Praptavad. But there is no achievement. So when there is no ignorance, you feel that Atma is achieved, or you are trying for that. So tannashe praptavad bhati swakantha bharanam yatha. This is another famous example. Searching for an ornament, kanthabharanam, necklace. Searching for the necklace which is hanging around the neck always. So the necklace is already there, but you forgot that. You have no awareness of that. Therefore, you are searching. So kantha abharanam yatha. Now it is not gained after a search. You just did a search operation, but after some time, you realized that that necklace is already there in around my neck. It's already there. It was never absent. It never went anywhere. So this realization, if we call it an achievement, then we can call it. Therefore it says praptavat bhat. Actually there is no achievement. because necklace was always there. So similarly, the Atma is always experienced, but that experience is neglected by the wrong experience of body-mind complex, by this ignorance, then everything happens. So ignorance has so much power, something like this. It can bring all, what is not there. It can bring what is not there, and it can envelop what is there. So it can show an object as something else. So all these powers ignorance has. So avarana, vikshepa, we call it different powers of ignorance. So that is what is happening here. So tannashe praptavad bhati swakantha bharanam yatha. Therefore, Brahma san Brahma apyeti. You are Brahman. And being Brahman, you achieve Brahman. So the achievement is just for the sake of conversation. We call it achievement. For the sake of study, we call it that we have achieved this. We have gained this knowledge. So therefore, there is no achievement. There is no result as Brahmajnana, the experience of Brahman. The experience of Brahman is not a result of any action or even knowledge. It's beyond that because it's already there. So that is how Vedanta reveals this secret of Atman as our own experience. So try to contemplate on this, accept this theory, the highest, the intellectually, how we can think about it. There are no words to actually produce this, the idea, or to bring out this idea. So it's beyond words and experiences. So we stop here for today. If you have any questions, please take over.
I think the first question is by Arun Babuji. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah. Hari Om Swamiji.
Yes, Hari Om.
I have a question regarding our today's class. Today we discussed about the Vritti Jnanam and the Swarupa Jnanam, where Vritti Jnana is with the Tribhuti and Swarupa Jnana where there is no Tribhuti and there is no process of objectification. That's we discuss. So the question is, at the same time, when we have the self-realization, we also discuss our understanding is changing, our thought process is changing. So with that, my question is, how the Tripudi is not there for a Jivan Mukta when the self-realization is actually reflecting in the medium of our mind only, right? Previously, there was a impurity, so the reflection was not pure, but still the reflection is happening for a jiva in the mind. So when that action is happening, I just wanted to understand how there is no tribute for the Swarupa Jnana. I don't know, I put forward the question clearly.
Yeah, that's you tried it. Yeah, I could understand what you are asking. Because when we discuss this subject, normally this question comes, how can we say Swarupa Jnana or whatever Jnana, whatever knowledge, without these three parts on the process of knowledge? I've already indicated this in between, because we are so much used to this process of knowledge, or we could say that our brain is made for that only. Brain can only receive such information which has these three parts. Other than this, brain has no idea, it's unable to receive anything like that. So when I say Swarupa Jnana, it's very difficult to convey what this Swarupa Jnana to be. So in our Vedanta, especially in Taittiriya Upanishad, this subject is discussed in detail by Bhagavatpada Shankaracharya Swamiji. The second chapter, Brahmananta Valli, the first mantra, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So this Swarupa Lakshana comes there. In that, Shankaracharya reveals at his best how this Swarupa Jnana can be understood. So there he says, when we think about something, think about an object, the object is already there. Then we understand that we add some qualities or something like that. Similarly, when we think about Brahman, we add some qualities or some form, something into that, some attributions. Without that, it cannot be understood. Therefore, when we stop this process of understanding, we have no idea what we understood. Just follow my words. When we stop, or when we try to stop this process of understanding, if we understood something, we can't realize it, we can't see it that we have understood it. Are you getting me? It means,
Yes.
yeah, it means if I say something, I have to put those words as subject, object, and verb. At least these three must be there. Otherwise, that sentence is not fit for communication. So there, Shankaracharya says, the normal knowledge is very, no, it is completely in that process. Therefore, the normal knowledge, you accept it as a knowledge. But the Swarupa Jnana is not qualified with all this. Therefore, it is not accepted. Now, then what is the way how we can understand that? Then there he says, we say jnana lakshanam, lakshana vritti. The lakshana vritti means you continue with the process of knowledge, process of understanding, go on, keep on searching it, pursue it, and once the pursuit stops, then what is experienced is the Swarupa Jnana. So the pursuit of knowledge where it ends, then the Swarupa Jnana experience. That is called Jnana Lakshanam, Lakshana Vritti. So we don't say this is Brahma Jnana. What we say, Neti Neti. So whatever you have, those knowledges are not Brahma Jnana. It's all objective knowledges. Therefore, Neti Neti. And once you stop that, you realize the Swarupa Jnana, from where all this knowledge arises. So that Swarupa Jnana you experience in Sushupti. Sushupti, what we experience as our own existence, that is Swarupa Jnana. Because that is unqualified knowledge. That experience is not qualified. What is the qualification there? There is no qualification. It's unqualified and without an object. So beyond object, the objective experience is not there. Then what you experience is subjective experience. And that subjective experience is called Swarupa Jnana. And therefore I said, this Swarupa Jnana is not the subject of discussion in our normal life. We don't need it. Why we should discuss something like this, which has no trace? It's traceless. Therefore, it's not discussed. And then why we go after this Swarupa Jnana? Why at all we go after this? What is the need to go after this Swarupa Jnana? Let it be there. We don't want it because it has no use. So this is to know that this Swarupa Jnana is the ultimate and you are that. And whatever you experience, whatever you do, whatever you experience is with this. If this is not there, then you are not there. So therefore, to experience our own existence, to prove our own existence, we go after this Swarupa Jnana. So therefore, the example is here, no? The necklace is already there, but you are searching for it. And you may search for all life, maybe many lives. You keep on searching. So it can happen. Therefore, if you want to know more about this, you can refer to Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahmananda Valli, Shankara Bhashya, the first part of Shankara Bhashya. From the beginning itself, that Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, it's there. You have this English version or any translation of Shankara Bhashya, you can read. It is very interesting how Acharya is bringing this Swarupa Jnana and separating Vritti Jnana and Swarupa Jnana there. This is only one place he has elaborated this in all his Prasthanatra Bhashya.
So Swamiji, does it mean that you mentioned and compared with the deep sleep state where it is so where there is no mind actually in the deep sleep state? So does it mean that the reflecting medium, when the self-realization is happening, is not the mind? It is not reflected in the mind, because in deep sleep the mind is off.
No. In waking state, the realized person given mukta can keep that knowledge even with the mind, because mind is not going to disturb it. One thing I tell you in this point, now the main problem with us is we are only identifying ourselves with this body, mind, which is there in waking state. Now I tell you, you just change your identity. You don't go for Brahmajnana and all this meditation, leave all this aside, and just identify yourself with the deep sleep experience. Now you think that I am not this. So your 90% problem is solved. So whenever we think about ourselves, we think from the waking state. So it's very difficult to understand. So now you change your identity card, Aadhaar card, and make a new Aadhaar card as the Prajna, one who sleeps. I am that. So then it's over. Now you will directly experience that I don't have the body. The Vedanta, there is no need to study Vedanta. You will tell directly that I don't have body, I don't have mind, I don't have prana, I don't have all this, because I am that. Now from here you are saying, no, I have this, I have this, I have this. It's right, because you are in waking state, you have all this. So then the problem is solved. And now one logic for this is, you cannot deny that you are not there. You know that I am the person who is sleeping there. And the person who slept is here, sitting here and talking about. So now you know that you are there. So I am suggesting you just to change the identity from this waking state to the Sushupti state, contemplate on this, and all the problems are solved. Then you will understand that there is nothing. And when mind comes, let the mind comes and bring all the thoughts. You just go along with those thoughts. What is there? Let it be there. But you know, I am not this. I am the person who sleeps. So then there is no worry, no hurry, nothing. Everything is solved. So now you know you are not going to die. Because that person who is sleeping is not dying. He has no fear of death even. The person who is there in this waking state, every moment he is he has that fear of death. So identify with that. So you know that there is no death. So let the body work like this. Let the body eat. Let the body drink. Let the body do all this. What is that? Let it do, because I am not this. I am using this body. Okay?
Thank you.
I think you understood it. So
yes,
now
thank
you try to practice. Any other questions related to this?
Dr. Kamala, Kamji.
Yes. There's a question actually. This is regarding the verse number 43. At the dawn,
43.
43, Aruneneva Bodhena, that is the one. So at the dawn, just like that, after that, Suryodayam and Arunodayam. And the Arunodayam will take some time. So then only the Surya will come. But is it like that with the Ajnanam? With the Ajnanam will get vanished immediately, no? Will it take step by step?
No. Actually, what is discussed here is the dawn. When dawn comes, the density of darkness is destroyed. Santamasa. It means the actual the problem of ignorance is destroyed by this knowledge. Now that knowledge has gone. It has destroyed the ajnana and its work is complete. Now the second part is Atma's appearance. So Atma reveals itself. This is the second part. Why it is so? Because the we have to say the realization of Brahman, realization of Atma will come only after the removal of ignorance. We have to say this. For the sake of saying this example Acharya has brought to make two parts. Because after destroying or having destroyed the ignorance, Atma is experienced. Now, when we say having destroyed, this is the first part, no? Then the second part is realization of Atma. Just to show that this this example is brought. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Understood. Thank you, Swamiji.
Yeah.
Shall we stop,
Swamiji, just a question on this Arunodayam, Aruna and Surya, is it separate two gods? That is, so far I understood sun means Aruna only, both say. Is it separate, Lord?
Yeah, there are some two separate things. No, we discussed this, no? So all this sunrise is made into two parts. First part is Arunodaya. So now Aruna, as in our Shastras, in our mythology, that we call Aruna as a Deva, the charioteer of the great charioteer of sun. Is like a form of Devata. So that after Arunodaya, only after Arunodaya, Suryodaya comes. Like if Pradhana Mantri or President or whoever, the VVIPs, when they move, first the pilot vehicles and pilot groups comes and they go, then only the VIP will come. So similarly, something like this. Okay.
Shall we stop, Swamiji?
Yeah. Om Purnamataha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi